human beings, there's two things that apply to all of us, whether you have blood cancer or not. And one is that we all have an anxiety and threat-based system that gets activated and is on high alert when we're faced with any kind of threat or danger. And the second is we don't like uncertainty, and we've had to live with both for a long, long time, much longer than any of us could have imagined before the pandemic hit. And bear in mind, this uncertainty is on top of the uncertainty and anxieties that anyone affected by blood cancer has to live with day to day anyway, even before the pandemic hit. What this combination of fear and uncertainty does is it tends to narrow our focus and make us think in black and white rather than in a nuanced way. So we can start to think that, until we have absolute certainty, we have to be completely on pause. So it's a very black or white way of thinking. And I wonder whether it can be helpful to introduce a little bit of nuance to balance this out a little bit. So for example, instead of saying there's no clarity yet and I have to avoid everyone and miss out on life all the time, I wonder whether it can be helpful to say, okay, I don't have a guarantee and I should still continue to avoid certain people and certain situations, but what are the situations in which I can expand my comfort zone a little bit, I think thinking about things that reduce the risk rather than aiming for certainty on what is absolutely safe can be helpful. Just some ideas off the top of my head are meeting people who have been vaccinated, meeting people who are willing to take maybe a rapid lateral flow test before they come out and meet you, meeting people outdoors, obviously avoiding large crowds and avoiding places with very little ventilation. These are all things that can help reduce your sense of risk when you are starting to go out and about again. The other really striking thing about this pandemic is that we got used to making decisions based on what others said we could or couldn't do. And this was heightened for people who were clinically extremely vulnerable and put into this category very explicitly of people who should be shielding, and with very strict instructions on what they should or shouldn't do. And when we are living through an unprecedented time like that, where other people are telling us what's safe and what isn't, we can lose touch with that internal cost-benefit analysis that we all constantly have to do when we're weighing things up to make decisions for ourselves. So even before the pandemic, people affected by blood cancers or people in their wider support network probably took decisions on what was safe or comfortable based on their clinical situation. So for example, if you had a stem cell transplant, then not getting on a busy, crowded bus or a tube if you could help it, or avoiding people who had been sick with a cold. So in some sense, this individual decision-making of risk has always been present, but it's been forgotten in this time of heightened threats and strict rules that we've all been expected to follow. And I'm wondering whether perhaps now is the time to start to bring this equation back a little bit. I noticed a comment in the chat from somebody as well that they've started going out a bit more because they were fed up of staying isolated. And everyone is different and will base their decisions on their individual cost-benefit analysis. For each of you, this will look slightly different based on how much you feel that missing out on so-called normal life is something that you're completely fed up of, or something that you feel like on balance you're okay to do for a little bit longer. And there's absolutely no right or wrong answer when it comes to this. It's quite likely that, especially based on what I'm hearing from Alison and Sian, is that it's quite likely that the blood cancer community will have to live with uncertainty for a time to come yet. And so my advice would be to take decisions based on some of the things that have been said in this talk, try to problem solve and think about reducing the risk rather than, and appreciating that there'll always be an element of not knowing, that it's quite natural and healthy to feel a little bit anxious when you start to do something again that you haven't done for a long time. That's completely natural. I've had patients who I've been supporting tell me that they were very anxious when they first went and sat outdoors in a cafe, but actually the more they did it, it became all right. And now it's within their expanded comfort zone area. So I'd like to think about this as gradually expanding your comfort zone if you're reaching that limit of frustration and want to go out there and start to live a little bit. I can't emphasize this enough, that your exact clinical situation is a very important part of this. because what the calculated risks are that you're prepared to take will depend on your unique medical position at any given time. Sometimes it might not feel like it's worth the risk if you're, I don't know, 1 week before coming into hospital for some high dose chemotherapy or something like that, and or treatment you've been waiting for a long time. And in other situations, you might feel like, okay, after discussing with my team, I feel like this is a calculated risk I'm prepared to take. But there is no scenario in which re-stepping into something familiar or stepping into something unfamiliar is going to be without anxiety. But anxiety is not an unhealthy emotion. If it's important to you, and if you've done your little risk assessment in consultation with your team, then it's okay to take small steps forward and feel anxious while you're doing that, because it's only in the doing of it that your anxiety will settle down a bit. And with the frustration, completely valid emotion. If for any reason you're feeling like it's not the time for you to step out there, know that there are people who share that frustration and empathize with you, and that it's a completely valid thing to feel.